Well, Dr. Klett, thank you very much for your willingness to be interviewed for the ASHS Hort Legends. And I'd like to go ahead and start off with a first question for you. What is your horticultural specialization, and what are the primary positions you have held?
Well, I suppose I consider myself a landscape horticulturist. I suppose some people call it now environmental horticulture, but I've been unique that I've been on one of the three-way splits. Basically, did a lot of teaching over my career, and also a lot of research, a lot of it more applied, and then also a lot of extension work, mainly with what I call today the green industry. I started my career after I got my PhD at the University of Illinois at South Dakota State University. And there I was kind of also on kind of a three-way split, but I was mainly doing a lot of teaching. And then there I also helped start basically what is called now McCurry Gardens, which was with bedding plants, annuals, and perennials. But then in 1980, I changed jobs and went to Colorado State University in Fort Collins. And consequently, the industry there was just starting to blossom quite a bit and grow. And it was quite a nice opportunity for me. And also, it was kind of a teaching research position, mainly dealing with woody plants and nursery crops. But about 8 to 10 years into that position, there was basically a retirement and not filling a position that I also went on a three-way split of doing teaching, research, and outreach. I really enjoyed the teaching because I've always had a great interest in plant materials, especially woody plants. So I was able to expand the woody plant course at Colorado State University. And one of the other reasons they hired me was to start a herbaceous plant course, identification, culture, and care. So I did that, and then also with the nursery production and management classes. So, and then I also helped with arboriculture and urban plant management, and even in a community and urban forestry class. So I've done a lot of teaching over the years, and it's been one of the more rewarding um, uh, careers for me just to work with so many undergraduate students and graduate students too over that decades of years.
Fantastic, thank you. What has horticulture meant to your life and career?
Well, horticulture to my life and career, it's been very rewarding. I think probably the most important part has been the relationships that I've been able to build over the years. I've had a lot of undergraduate students, and it's amazing how I've kept in contact with some of them now going on almost 50 years that still get letters during the holiday season from them to know. And a lot of them, of course, retired before I did that way because I worked fairly late into my life because I really enjoyed it. That, I suppose, both the undergraduate and the graduate student relationships have been very rewarding for me. Plus, the other part that has been probably very rewarding is the working with industry people and gaining their respect, both on the state and also a lot on the national level. Being involved a lot with what I call the green industry, um, the nursery and greenhouse associations, the arborist associations, the garden center people, also the landscape contractors in the state of Colorado. I've sat either officially or ex officio on their boards and have developed really lifetime friendships with a lot of these people, and they have become very personal friends. one of the major greenhouse companies. Actually, I've traveled twice to what they used to call the pack trials, and it was just very rewarding. They wanted to take me along because, of course, they had a lot of arrangements and everything. I didn't have to do much, so it was very rewarding that way. Plus, the seeing the undergraduate students and the graduate students, be successful in their careers along them and coming them and writing me letters or seeing them in very successful careers, and be it either at universities or being just in industry of all different types or at botanic gardens and so forth. I've also developed a lot of friendships with botanic garden people, and especially in the last 40 plus years with the Denver Botanic Gardens. And probably one of the more rewarding things is that we started a plant introduction program for better plants for the Rocky Mountains and High Plains area. And it's been successful. And I did most of that work for probably 10, 15 years, and it grew that we were able then to hire an executive director and had enough revenue coming in to support that, and it continues to grow, especially and be successful, as I've seen a lot of these plant introduction programs at various other institutions kind of come and go, and ours be successful. So that's made me feel good. And then also just to see the plants that we promoted or introduced all throughout the Rocky Mountain and High Plains region and beyond is also very rewarding to see that with a lot of those plants. And then the other thing that I've kind of taken on in the last 25 or 30 years is I've always been involved with plant introduction. That's been my research emphasis, both with herbaceous and woody plants. And to see our trial gardens, for instance, at Colorado State University, grow from very small to over 1,100 or more varieties now. And I'm told from a lot of the major seed and vegetative companies, if not the best, in the top 3 in the country, and they continue want to put entries in every year. So that makes me feel good to see that we've built some great relationship with these national companies, along with the state organizations supporting that type of work.
Great, thank you. And you may have answered the question in that response. The next question, or maybe you wish to elaborate more, but what do you consider to be the most rewarding part of your career in horticulture?
I think the most rewarding part, as I mentioned before, is working with students and seeing students be successful and helping to shape some of their careers. And so many of them have come in since I did so much undergraduate advising, not really knowing where they wanted to go and showing them the opportunities that exist within horticulture. And how then some of them just got so excited and, graduated and now have own companies or work for major companies or work in botanic gardens that I can visit with, and they thank me. So it really makes me feel good to just see that students over the years appreciate, the guidance that they got at the university and now are successful industry and green industry or whatever type of industry members.
That's fantastic. How long have you been a member of ASHS, and how has the society influenced your career?
Well, I became a member of ASHS when I was a graduate student at the University of Illinois, and that was in the early 70s. And I've been a member of this organization ever since. The friendships, as a young graduate student, just starting to develop. And some of those I still have. Most of them are all retired now and don't come to these meetings as much, but there's some. The other thing is when I was in South Dakota, they had a regional organization, the Great Plains Horticulture Society. I think that's what it was called. It doesn't exist anymore. But when they were these regional groups, I really developed some very close friendships within that. We don't have that in the Western region. It was when I first went to Colorado State, but it isn't anymore. So I don't think, but there's other groups like working groups or interest groups, or even some things with the Ag Experiment Station that you develop those type of friendships. But ASHS has played a major role in just developing friendships and helping with research. I've developed some projects with other people in other parts of the country over the years through the relationships that I developed here at ASHS. So besides just being a great place to catch up on what's being done in horticulture throughout the United States and actually Canada and so forth, world now, basically. It's a great, and it's helped me develop also professionally. I know when I was starting to teach a lot of new classes and how to do these labs for plant materials classes and that, we had sessions that we talked about how to do things. And, how did we do back then? It was slides and digitized and various other things that you can do into the classroom to keep students motivated. It's been very helpful that way to learn here through ASHS, and then of course through the publications that ASHS has to get your research published there is also very important, and to see what other people are doing. And coming to ASHS meetings just to listen to some of the research presentations, extension presentations, to see what other people in different states are doing. It just is helpful, I think, to stay current, and also just believe in the profession that you're in, horticulture, that I've been in all my life.
Excellent, thank you. That's a perfect segue into our next question. What advice can you offer to students or young professionals in horticulture?
Well, advice that I would say is, as a graduate student and so forth, come to these meetings. I know it's difficult. You feel like you don't know many people, or just other graduate students that you might be coming with, or if you're at a smaller school, there may not be as many. But the friendships that you'll develop, it'll be helpful for you as you develop your careers. Be whatever area of interest that you're in. There's so many different interest groups now and different sessions that are going on. I feel that you're going to meet great people, and you're going to have those friendships basically the rest of your professional career and beyond, that you're going to probably stay in communications with. And if you change jobs quite a bit, it's always great to see your former colleagues, if you change from another institution, another university, or whatever it might be, industry, to catch up on them too. It's a great place each year, I think, to be able to redevelop and rekindle friendships and get new ones. And it just helps overall in your overall career development. It's a great organization that way.
Well stated. Last question. What excites you most about the future of the horticultural industry and profession?
What excites me the most? Well, I think it's just the enthusiasm when I come to these national meetings to see there's so many young people yet entering this field. It makes me feel good that it's not a dying industry. Also, what excites me is, even though through the pandemic and COVID, there was this great interest that we saw in plants. And I just hope that it'll continue. And I see in the trends, like in Colorado, where I'm from, still great interest in gardening. And I think that we can also work, and I see this in the development of these interest groups on climate change. Also, in the area that I am in, is water utilization and conservation of water, of how we in a professional organization and in horticulture can help just make our our climate and also our earth a lot more sustainable. And the type of work that I've been doing on all these new introductions, a lot of it has dealt with ones that are more adaptable to a more dry climate, less water, and hopefully we're shaping just the general public too to be thinking more about this, at least in the Rocky Mountain High Plains area, to be still be successful gardeners, that we can do things a lot with less water and just also help with overall with our climate. So it's exciting that way to see that, along with so many young people getting interested in this.
Fantastic. Dr. Klett, thank you very much for serving as a Hort legend and providing time to answer our questions today and sharing your insight into careers and everything that is related and in the world of ASHS. Thank you.